Hey everyone, in this video we're taking a look at the brand new and exciting Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Demas Rusli and I'm a photographer and designer based in Sydney, Australia. In this video, we'll be checking out the new Galaxy Z Fold 7. I'll first run through the updated specs and then I'll show some test photos and videos I've shot on this phone since I'm a photographer. Before we start, a big shout out to Samsung Australia for lending me this review unit before the Unpacked launch. It was super interesting to test out this phone for a couple of days, especially with the super thin design, which we'll get to in a bit. Because this is a review unit, there's some letters and numbers printed on this phone, so please ignore that. This won't be the case for the phones you buy in stores. Alright, so let's get started. So the most jarring and coolest update on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is definitely how thin the phone is. Here you can see how thin it is compared to last year's Galaxy Z Fold 6, and here's an even crazier comparison next to the Galaxy S25 Ultra. At 8.9mm thick when folded, it's only just 0.7mm thicker than the S25 Ultra, but it unfolds and has a bigger inside screen. When unfolded, it's only 4.2mm thick. That's wild. In hand, the thinness of the phone and the lighter overall weight of 215 grams compared to 239 grams on the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is very noticeable. It's hard to show on camera the feeling of the thinness and how much nicer it feels in the hand, but if you can go in store to check it out, I'd definitely recommend it. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is now also wider and taller compared to the Z Fold 6. It's now 4.9mm taller at 158.4mm and 3.7mm wider at 72.8mm when folded. The wider cover screen makes it feel closer to a normal bar phone, and it really is much better to use when typing or even scrolling through your favorite apps. I think it'll only be a matter of time before the width and dimensions of folding phones become the same as the standard bar phones. The wider and taller cover screen is a 6.5-inch 2520 by 1080 dynamic AMOLED 2x display with an adaptive refresh rate of 1 to 120 Hz. This is a 0.2-inch increase in size compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 6 cover screen. And the larger cover screen means that the unfolded inside main screen is now also bigger at 8 inches compared to 7.6 inches. The inside screen is 2184 by 1968 and also a dynamic AMOLED 2x display with an adaptive refresh rate of 1 to 120 Hz. Both cover and inside screens are really bright, and when it comes to brightness, it looks very similar to the Galaxy Z Fold 6 when I'm looking at it side by side. Even with this super thin form factor, Samsung has still managed to keep the battery capacity the same at 4400 mAh, and hopefully paired with the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy octa-core chipset, the battery should improve. From my testing over the last few days using the phone, taking lots of photos and videos, it's lasted the whole day comfortably though. I'll need to do some further testing regarding the battery life when I use this phone daily for myself later on. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 supports 25 watts super fast charging and 15 watts fast wireless charging 2.0, which are both not the fastest compared to other phones out there. Hopefully, with the advancements of battery and charging technology, we can see Samsung implement this in their future phones. The phone also doesn't have S Pen compatibility anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Samsung says that this has allowed them to make the phone as thin as it is, as the digitizer layer has been removed. And apparently, the usage rate of the S Pen worldwide was also quite low, so that's why they removed it. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 comes in 3 storage variants, 256 gigs, 512 gigs, and 1 terabyte. The 256 and 512 gig variants have 12 gigabytes of RAM, but the 1 terabyte version now has 16 gigs of RAM, which is a great improvement. The starting prices here in Australia will range from 2,899 Australian dollars to 3,549 Australian dollars, and it'll come in 4 colors: Silver Shadow, which is the one I have with me, Blue Shadow, Jet Black, and Mint, which is an online exclusive color. Alright, let's now take a look at the cameras. The biggest improvement in the camera hardware is definitely the 200 megapixel f1.7 standard wide camera, a jump from the 50 megapixel f1.81 last year. The 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide and the 10 megapixel f2.4 3x telephoto remains the same. The furthest it can digitally zoom for photos is 30x, and for videos it's 12x. I personally would like to see the 5x camera on this phone from the S25 Ultra instead of the 3x, but I understand that having the periscope 5x lens is probably super hard to put physically inside such a thin design. Both the selfie cameras on the cover screen and the main screen are 10 megapixel f2.2 cameras. It looks like Samsung has removed the pixels on top of the selfie camera on the inside screen, so it's not an under-screen camera anymore. This is fine with me because I think the quality of the photos will be better. The camera bump on the back of the phone is quite chunky and protrudes out more than the Z Fold 6. But again, that's understandable given the really thin form factor of the phone everywhere else. Just like the S25 Ultra, the Z Fold 7 can also shoot in log format, which is good if you want to have more flexibility when color grading your video footage like me. The best thing about having a folding phone is all the different ways you can use the folding mechanism for photography and other things. Samsung calls this flex mode, and it's super handy for when you want to prop your phone up to take a selfie or shoot a time lapse, or even taking Zoom calls or watching YouTube videos. Also, since you can unfold the phone, you never really need to take selfies with the selfie cameras. You can just use the main cameras and even pick any of the 3 lenses for your selfies. So I've been testing the photo and video quality on this phone during my time with it, and here are some unedited samples straight out of the camera. Make sure you're watching this video in 4K so you can see it in the highest quality. So here's a selfie video test using the camera on the cover screen. And now we're using the camera on the inside screen. Here's a selfie video using the 0.6x on the main cameras. And this one's using the 1x main camera. So from my initial testing of this Galaxy Z Fold 7, I think it's definitely a really great update and going towards the right direction in terms of what a fold phone of the future should be. The super thin design and the wider cover screen is awesome, as it basically now is the size and very similar shape to a normal bar phone, but it can open up and turn into an 8-inch tablet. It's a productivity beast and so good for multitasking with the big screen size. The updated 200 megapixel main camera and the camera system as a whole is also really solid, as you can see from the photo and video examples. It also has quite a great suite of Galaxy AI features baked into the phone too, which is standard now in all of Samsung's latest flagship phones. The price is quite a bit expensive though, which is what you'd expect from a premium folding flagship device, and I'd like to see the 5x camera and the 50 megapixel ultra wide camera on here like the S25 Ultra for the next launch. If you're thinking about switching to a foldable phone and have the budget for it, I think this is the one to get for sure. In the Unpacked event that just happened, Samsung also announced the new Galaxy Z Flip 7 and also the new Galaxy Watch 8 and Watch 8 Classic. The design of the new Watch 8 Classic looks super awesome and I can't wait to try it for myself very soon. So what do you think of this Z Fold 7? Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, specifically on the cameras. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, and stay tuned for lots more videos coming soon. As always, thanks so much for watching, and remember to always push your creativity to the next level. Bye!